Do you hear that? Thriller is playing in the background because this is a thrilling lesson. So if you can tell me tomorrow what song was playing in the background at the beginning of this lesson, you'll get something special. All right, factoring trinomials, part 1. There are at least 2 parts to this lesson. This is only part 1, so let's begin. This is what you already know. If you see 2 things being multiplied together, those things being binomials, then I can do my foiling process to get to my trinomial. So let's do the f of FOIL, that's x squared. My outside term is x times 1, which is x. My inside term is 6x. And then my last term is 6. And then I've got my like terms here, which I combine, and I get my trinomial, which is this. Okay, remember how to do that? That was our foiling. I'll write that over here. Well, now we're going to work backwards. Oh, sorry. Factors become trinomials by foiling. I just said that. So now we're going to go the other way. We're going to go from trinomials and we're going to make factors. Sometimes I call it unfoiling, but the actual term that you need to know is factoring. We're going to pull out the parts that multiply to make the whole. Pulling out the parts that multiply to make the whole. So far you've done it through finding the GCF, but now there isn't going to be a GCF, but we can still find the factors. Let's try. So the method that I call this is the snowflake method. Some other teachers call it the diamond method, but this is where part 2 comes in, because I'm just going to call it the snowflake method. So the snowflake comes in our little black lines here. So the big X down the middle with my dotted line in between, and notice my letters. AC is on top. Switch colors. B is on the bottom. And then my AX, and my AX is above the dotted line. Now where are we getting those letters from? Well, the A is my coefficient of the x squared term, my leading coefficient. My B is the coefficient of the x term, and my C is my constant term. Let's try this with some actual numbers. So there's my trinomial. Let's fill in our ABC. Well, A is my coefficient of x squared, so if I don't see it there, well, that means it's a 1. So A is 1. B is a positive 5. C is a positive 6. So now let's fill in our snowflake. Well, the top of the X is A times C. So 1 times 6 is 6. I'm going to put the sign there because that's kind of important. The bottom of my snowflake is B. Well, my B is a positive 5. Let me put my plus signs. My B is a positive 5, so I'm going to put a positive 5 there. My AX and my AX is just a 1x, 1x. I don't need the 1, so I'll just write x. So now to figure out what numbers go below the dotted line, I have to think. What 2 numbers multiply to a positive 6, but add up to a positive 5? So let's list all the products of 6. I can have 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Well, both of those can actually somehow add up to 5. But now I got to play with my signs. If I'm going to multiply to a positive number, that means my signs have to be the same. Well, if I do 6 and 1, one of those has to be a minus for it to be a 5. So that doesn't work. Let's cross that out. Okay, well now I have a 2 and a 3. Well, I know that a positive 2 times a positive 3 equals a positive 6. I also know a negative 2 times a negative 3 equals a positive 6. So which of those makes a positive 5? Well, a positive 2 with a positive 3 adds up to a positive 5. So that's what I'm going to put right here. The more of these we do, the better of these you'll get. So now what you see at my dotted lines is now my factors. X plus 2, x plus 3. You don't have to use the snowflake method, but I find that it works pretty good, especially for people who have done this in the past and have struggled. And so how do you know if you're right? You can always FOIL to check. So if I go back, if I FOIL this out, I get x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 6. Add my like terms, and I get back to my original equation. So that's how I know I'm right. Let's try another one. All right, let's identify our A, B, C again. A is 1, B is a positive 9, and C is a positive 18. Let's fill in the top and bottom of our snowflake. So the A times C is a positive 18, B is a positive 9, and then I've got my X and my X above the dotted line. So what pair of numbers multiplies to an 18 and adds to a positive 9? Let's list out all our pairs of 18. I have 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. Well, the only pair that could add up to a 9 is 3 and 6. So let's drop those in our parentheses. So now I have to play with my signs. Because I have to add to a positive 9 and I have to multiply to a positive 8, well, the only possibilities is a plus 3 plus 6. Because a positive 3 times a positive 6 is a positive 18. A positive 3 plus a 6 is a positive 9. Plus 3x plus 6. And there are my factors. If you want to do the shortcut version to check your factors, this is what I call my smiley face check. My inside is a 3x, positive. My outside is a positive 6x. So it's kind of like we've got our nose. Let's try this again. I've got my nose, I've got my eyes, and I have my smiley face right there. And so since I have a 9x right here, that gives me my middle term, which is exactly what I want. Okay, let's try another one. All right, ABC again. This time B is negative 4. Be careful there. So that means C, well, is a negative 12. So when I drop in my numbers in my snowflake, A times C is now a negative 12. B is a negative 4. And above my AX is still X and X. Okay, so now I have to think, what pair of numbers multiplies to a negative 12 and adds to a negative 4? Let's list out our pairs that make 12. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Well, no combination of 1 and 12 is going to give me any combination of 4. So 1 and 12 is out. No combination of 3 and 4 can make a 4. So 3 and 4 are out. So now I have to figure out what are my signs for 2 and 6 to make a negative 12 when I multiply and a negative 4 when I add. So one of these has to be a positive, one of these has to be a negative. If I have a positive 2 with a negative 6, or I could have a negative 2 with a positive 6. Which one gives me a negative 4? Well, obviously, only this one gives me a negative 4. My second one gives me, my second one gives me a positive 4, so I don't want to use that one. So a plus 2 minus 6 is what I want. So that means my factors for this trinomial are x plus 2, x minus 6 from inside my snowflake. Okay, let's try one more just for extra practice. Let's ABC this. A is 1, B is negative 6, C is positive 8. Top of my snowflake is 8 times a 1, positive. On the bottom is B, which is a negative 6. Above my dotted line, AX, XX, which is just 1, 1. So now, I need to list out pairs of numbers that multiply to a positive 8 and add to a negative 6. So my pairs are 1 and 8, 2 and 4. Well, since 1 and 8 could never combine to make a 6 at all, it'll either make a 9 or a 7, so that's out. So 2 and 4 is who I have to work with. So I could either have, because I have to multiply to a positive, so that means I have to have the same signs. I could either have a positive 2 times a positive 4, plus, erase. A positive 2 plus a 4, or I could have a negative 2 minus a 4. Well, the only one that's going to give me a negative 6 is my 2 negatives, because this one gives me a positive 6, and that's not what I want. So this one's out. So what goes in my snowflake is a negative 2, negative 4, which therefore makes my factors x minus 2, x minus 4. And we can always do our smiley face check to make sure that's right. Okay? I think that's it. Yep. That's it. 13 minutes. We're going to go over this again in class tomorrow. But if you know what to do, go ahead and get started on 1 through 12 on that worksheet that called Factoring Trinomials, where a equals 1. Okay? See y'all tomorrow.